Now, take a deep breath. I hope and pray everyone had a nice week. It's a week of no Jewish holidays for the first time in over a month. But now we reach the most important holiday of all, and that is of the Shabbat. It's our one day of the week where we as Jews remember God's creation, remember our special mission in this world. We remember to take a pause from our busy, daily, hectic lives to connect with those we love, to connect with God, and to connect with ourselves. Let us now rise for the blessings over the Shabbat candles.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, V'tzivanu lehadlik ner, V'tzivanu lehadlik ner, V'tzivanu lehadlik ner, Shel Shabbat.
And you may be seated. Peace to you, ministering angels. Let us feel your presence as we welcome this day of Shabbat. Shalom Aleichem, page 5.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Malachem leShalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni leShalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitchem leShalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Let us go now and sing to Adonai, and let us trumpet our praise to our protector. Lechuna Radana Ladonai, the top of page 11.
Lechuna Radana, Lechuna Radana, Lechuna Radana Ladonai. Lechuna Radana, Lechuna Radana, Lechuna Radana Ladonai. Naria, Naria, Letzur Ishenu, Nekadma Fana Betoda. Naria, Naria, Letzur Ishenu. narialo lachuna ranana lachuna ranana lachuna ranana la donai lachuna ranana lachuna ranana lachuna ranana la donai.
We continue now in the middle of page 14. Yismechu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz.
Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yiramayam, 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 oh, Yiramayam, 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 oh, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yiramayam, 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 oh, Yiramayam, 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 oh.
Come, my beloved, to welcome the bride. Let us greet Shabbat as she arrives. L'chai dodi likrat kala, page 23.
Nekabala, lechadodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat, nekabala. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, ishmiyanu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad l'shmo echad l'shem u'tiferet, v'litila, v'litila. Lechadodi, likrat kala, Shabbat l'chuven elcha ki mekor habracha merosh mikerem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila l'chadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabala. We rise and face the door. Likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabala. Shalom, materet bala, gam besimcha u'betzola, toch emunei am segula, bovi chala, bovi chala. Lechadodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekabala. Lechadodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekabala.
And you may be seated. And let us continue now. It is good to thank you, Adonai, and to sing your name most high. Tov lahadot l'Adonai, the top of page 27.
בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות עלי עשור ועלי נבל עלי היגיון בחינות נזמר לשמך עליון. טוב, טוב להודות לאדוני.
And now we turn to page 30, and we invite all those in mourning and all those observing a Yurtzeit to rise for the words of the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitzgadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, v'yalma divrach yiruteh v'yamlik machuteh, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayeh dekol beit Yisrael, ba'agalav izman kariv v'yamru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam omei amaya. Yitzbarach v'yishtabach pitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudusha brichu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tishbechata v'nechemata damiram v'yalma v'yimru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Osei shalom bimromav Hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru, amen. And now we rise for the words of the Baruch Hu, page 39.
Baruch Hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed.
And you may be seated now as we continue in our service, Ahavat Olam, page 40.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקך אדוני בית ישראל עמך אהבת תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגע יומם ולילה ויהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. Asher and Jack lead us in Shema, page 41.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, bechol levavecha, ubechol nafshecha, ubechol meodecha. Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher Anochi metzavecha, hayom al levavecha, veshinantam levanecha, vedibarta bam, veshivtecha bebeitecha, uvlechtecha baderech, uvshofecha uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, vehayu letotafot beineinecha, uvtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha.
We continue silently, page 42. Adonai Elohechem Amen. We turn to page 44, middle of the page, and the boys lead us in Mi Chamocha. Turn to page 45 for Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom v'hamidenu Malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu Malkeinu l'chaim. Ushmor tzeiteinu uvoeinu l'chaim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam ve'ad olam ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu Malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu Turn to page 46. We join the boys in Vishamru.
Shabbat,
silent Amidah, page 47 through page 52.
Turn to page 51. Join together, Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasir Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasir Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom rav al Yisrael amcha, tasir leolam. Shalom rav al Yisrael amcha, tasir leolam. B'tol einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael, b'chol עת ובכל שעה, בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. Now let's put our arms around each other and join in Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom, Oseh Shalom b'mromah, Oseh Shalom aleinu, Shalom aleinu, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru Amen. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru Amen. 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 עשה שלום עלינו, שלום עלינו, עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן.
And now let's continue with a prayer of healing for all those who we know now who are sick, who need that extra prayer, that refuah shlema, that complete healing of the mind, body, soul, and spirit, as the cantor leads us in the Mishaberach prayer, found on the inside back cover of our Sidurim.
Mishaberach avotenu, makor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing for us and all of those we love. Mishaberach imotenu, mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
And now you may be seated as we continue with the Kaddish Shalom, page 54.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועל מה דברי חיותי וימליך מלכותי, וחייך נגמכון וחייך בן ישראל, בעגלה בזמן קריב, ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, יתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי לקודשה, בריחו לעילה מכל אחד המשירתה, ושבחתה ונחמתה לאמירן בעלמא, ואמרו אמן. תתקבל צלותנו ואותנו לכל ישראל, קודם עווני בשמיה, ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו amen.
Good Shabbos again, everyone. So a few weeks ago, my daughter, who's a senior in high school, asked if I would bring her to a Texan game. It wasn't to see a victory. Rather, it was to bring back some good memories of the years in which I would often bring her and my other children to football games. So we decided we would go. But my daughter always insisted on wearing a jersey of one of the players on the Texans. Right now, the only jersey she had was Deshaun Watson's jersey. She wasn't going to wear that jersey. So she asked me, which jersey should I get? Dad, I want to get the jersey of the best player on the team. I had no idea which player is now considered the best one on the team. There aren't many good players to choose. For the few players who may be considered the best on the current 2021 Houston Texans, on the one hand, we have so many bad players. To be the best player on the Texans, it's not saying much. But on the other hand, you could look at it, given the inept ownership, the fact that any player is halfway decent It's impressive that any player can still play some good football. Now, believe it or not, the same idea can be found in the very first line of our Torah portion this week. And that's Parshat Noach. And you're familiar with this Parsha. This is the man chosen by God to build the ark. Him and his family, along with, of course, many of the animals, will be the only living creatures that will survive the flood that God is about to bring. In the very first verse of the Torah this portion says, Noach ish Sadiq, Tamim haya b'dorotav. Noah was a righteous man. He was blameless in his age. Why are the words "in his age" added? Couldn't have just said Noah was a righteous man. He was blameless. And that's why God chose him. But the Torah adds the words b'dorotav, in his age, in his generation. And so, as good rabbis often do, the rabbis debate, why does the Torah add these words? Is this a true compliment or is it qualified praise? Just like our discussion about the Texans, one rabbi named Yochanan says, compared to those he was around, he was very righteous. This was the generation that was so evil, so corrupt, so full of violence that God decides he must destroy all living human beings and almost all creatures. But if he lived Noah in a more respectable age, maybe Noah wouldn't have been so special, no better than average. But another rabbi, a guy named Reish Lakish, he felt differently. He felt society was so bad during that time, it's a testimony to Noah that he was good at all. It wasn't easy to be good. If he had lived in a generation of virtuous people or in more normal times, he would have been even more righteous with so many good examples around him. Anyone, according to this rabbi, who had the moral backbone to be a good person in an immoral society would have been an even better person in a generation that encouraged goodness. Yochanan and Reish Lakish based their opinions on their worldviews. Yochanan emphasizes the power of society to shape the behavior of its members. Reish Lakish, he champions the power of the individual to withstand the pressures of society. And here's the interesting part. Reish Lakish, who becomes one of the greatest rabbis of the Talmud, before becoming a rabbi, is a well-known thief. That's right. Before he became a rabbi, he was known as one of the most cunning and daring outlaws of the time. In fact, Yochanan here, who disagrees with him, gets Reish Lakish to become a rabbi by promising him his beautiful sister in marriage if he gives up his life of crime for a life of Torah. And Yochanan's plan works. In fact, it works so well, Yochanan and Reish Lakish not only become brother-in-laws, they become best friends and full-time study partners. They were known to spend many days and nights in the heartfelt debate and discussion in the great Beit Midrash, the great house of study. A rabbi from birth, encouraging a thief from birth to become a rabbi who later becomes his best friend and study partner. Sounds like the next Hollywood blockbuster. Thinking about their own respective backgrounds and life experiences, it makes sense that each rabbi has a different perspective on Noah. Yochanan has experienced firsthand the power of society to shape the behavior of its members. He has now seen how a new family, new surroundings, and a life of Judaism has turned an infamous thief into a famous rabbi. Reish Lakish has experienced firsthand the power of an individual to withstand the pressures of society. He has grown up amongst a rough crowd. He was conditioned to live a life of crime. Yet he was able to overcome the challenges of his earlier life and become an esteemed rabbi by surrounding himself with more respectable individuals. Each rabbi offers, I believe, several lessons for us all. I want to share three. Number one, Yochanan reminds us perhaps the best way to help someone who is struggling, someone who could live a better life, is to simply offer friendship, making them feel part of a friend group, making them feel part of a community, making them feel part of a family can go a long way in truly helping someone. Is there a neighbor, maybe a distant cousin, someone in your office who could use a friend, who could use your wisdom and care? Are you doing enough to help those in your life who could use your guidance and support? Because a hand up is always more powerful than a hand out. Years ago, a member told me about an experience he had at work. At a luncheon, he noticed a fellow colleague who was sitting alone. And this was often the case. This colleague had several personal challenges, and people often shied away. So this congregant, decided to sit with this man. And they ended up having a nice conversation. And over time, they became friendly and maintained a pleasant office friendship. Years later, the lonely colleague told him how much that friendship meant to him. The fact that he had sat with him, spoken with him, and become his friend filled him with joy. The friendship also helped him overcome some of his personal challenges. Our member never knew that sitting with someone at lunch could make such an impact. You never know the influence you can have on someone by simply being open-minded, friendly, and considerate. Number 2, the Rabbi Reish Lakish reminds us, no matter the challenges you have faced, never give up hope that you can overcome them. You can change your life's direction by just associating yourself with people who can help. There are people out there who can offer you the assistance, support, and advice you may need. Your clergy are there for you. And fellow members of the Beth Yeshurun family are also there for you. Coming to shul, being around others, being part of a community of people can go a long way to changing how each of us lives, can give us the role models we may need to change the direction in which we're headed. Earlier this week, I spoke with a new member, a woman who just joined our congregation. She told me that she just moved to this area of Houston. And before joining Beth Yeshurun, she had visited almost every synagogue in town. But she decided to join here because, as she told me, when she walked into Beth Yeshurun, people were warm and welcoming. People went up and introduced themselves. They asked how she was. They asked how they could help. They got to know her. And that made me so proud. A Jewish life has been changed for the better. And number 3, a lesson for the young people that are here today. It's not don't become a thief, and it's not don't become a Texan fan unless you want to live a life of disappointment and misery. You know these things. The third lesson is choose wisely who you associate yourself with. As I mentioned earlier, my daughter is a senior and is busy working on her college applications. Our house is a whirlwind right now. This weekend, she's making her 4th college visit in 3 weeks. And all we seem to be debating and talking about is where she'll apply, getting the applications done, getting her recs in, and all of the fun that's involved in sending our children to college. And it got me thinking, do you know how many children in the world actually have the blessing to attend and graduate from college? How many do you think? I looked it up. It's less than 7% of the people in the world will have the blessing of attending college and graduating. Our children are indeed very blessed. Because almost all of the children of this community, of this congregation, it's an expectation. It's something we take pride in. Education is something that we as Jews have always taken seriously, and we continue to do so, as our children often make us so proud by going to college and becoming the adults we want them to become. But it's a reminder that all it takes, God forbid, is one mistake to ruin that incredible blessing that so many young in our community will have. It's a blessing just to go to college when 93% of the people in the world never will. So the lesson is choose wisely who you'll spend your time with during your middle school and high school years. Choose wisely, because it can make all the difference. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And now let us continue in our service as we rise for the Aleinu, page 56.
Shabbat Ladon Akol La Tekedu La Leoter Breshit Shelo Asanu Kigoye Haratzot Velo Samanu Kemish Bechot Hadamah Shelo Sam Chelkenu Kahen Vegor Aleinu Kecho Hamonam Ve'anachnu Korim Umishtachavim Uodim Bifnei Melech Mochei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shehu Notei Shamayim Ve'yosed Haaretz Umoshem Yekaro Bashamayim Ima'al Ushchinatu Zo V'govei Meromim Hu Eloheinu Ein Emet Malkeinu Efesulato Kakatu V'Torata V'Datayo V'Ashivota Ele Babecha Ki Adonai Hu Elohim Bashamayim Ve'oretz Mitzav Ha'einu V'ne'emar V'haya Adonai L'melech HaKol Ha'aretz V'yom ha'hu Yeh Adonai Echad U'shemo Echad.
And now we invite all those in mourning and all those observing a yurtzeit to remain standing for the words of the Mourner's Kaddish, page 58. And this week at Beth Yeshurun, we offer condolences to the families of Herzl Aaron, Diane Manning, Michael Lavage, Michael Katzif, Selma Plotkin, Florence Berger, Erwin Ted Powers, page 58. Yitzgadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, v'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlik malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'kayeh dekol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'yemru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevorach leolam omea maya, yitbarach v'yishtabach pitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, shemei dekudesha b'rechu. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tishbechata v'nechemata, da'amiram v'yama v'yimru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru, amen. Osei shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru, amen. And you may be seated. So we have one very, very special anniversary to celebrate this evening. A couple that's celebrating their 60th wedding anniversary. And that is our friends Vicky and Bob Berenbaum. Where are they? There you are. Stand up. Stand up. Mazel tov. And I see you're there with many family members. Vicki and Bob, it's been a good year. Thank God you lived across the street. Let me tell you a little bit about your background. You lived across the street from each other since you were born. Pretty amazing. You've been married for 60 years and lived in Houston for 55 of those years. And you've been blessed with 3 wonderful children and 7 even more wonderful grandchildren who never cease to amaze you. You're grateful to have a dining room large enough now to hold everyone for Passover. And you're also grateful to have been able to travel together to all the continents in the world except Antarctica, and that's okay. Vicky, you're the family cook and lawyer, and Bob, you're the history buff and investment broker. And in sum, you consider yourselves hugely blessed. And there's no doubt that you are. You look great. May God continue to bless you like nights like this, surrounded by family and community, when you celebrate such an important milestone in your life, 6 decades of marriage. And may God continue to bless you with many more years of health, happiness, and shalom peace. And let us say amen. Happy anniversary. Just a few announcements I wanted to share with everyone. This past Sunday, we kicked off our adult education calendar, our Jewish Learning Project, with some great learning opportunities. And it's not too late to join a class. We have many, many classes for all ages, all levels of knowledge. Just go to our website. I just want to point out just a few of them that are this week in particular. We started our 20th year of 100 Jewish Men this Wednesday evening. And our guest this year is James Morrison, a former FBI agent and current Chief Tech Officer at Hewlett-Packard, who will be speaking about cybersecurity. That's this Wednesday. We have a great slate of speakers. We've already gotten over 100 men to register, but there's still room if you want to join. Just go to our website. Rabbi Morgan will be offering his monthly Zoom teaching beginning this Thursday. It's 7 p.m., and his topic this month is a Jewish take on abortion. Again, there's many classes almost every day of the week. Go to our website. Love to see you there. Next Friday, Rabbi Fort will be offering story time for our young at 5 p.m., and she'll be doing it virtually, where she'll read a book for our children and offer the blessings. Our seniors will finally have an opportunity to come back together. It's been too long to have our Yes group, and we look forward to welcoming our seniors back for lunch and entertainment on Wednesday, October 20th. And what a better way to kick off the program year with our own Cantor Finkelstein, and that's on Wednesday, October 20th. In 2 weeks from tonight, we'll be having a special Shabbat. That's Friday, October 22nd. We welcome all of our heroes, our medical professionals. And these professionals, if you know, have been heroes throughout this pandemic. And we want to recognize their incredible efforts and offer a special prayer for their continued strength and resilience in all they face. That's our first ever medical professional Shabbat. That's 2 weeks from tonight. And finally, every month we'll be offering different social action opportunities. This month, we're kicking off a new program called our Shabbat Shalom Bag Project. Led by our social action chairs, Morgan Steinberg and Lindsay Tavor, our goal is to connect volunteers with a member who would benefit from a special outreach from the congregation on Shabbat. So volunteers will have the opportunity to pick up a bag with Shabbat candles and grape juice on a Monday, and during the week, purchase a kosher challah and add their own creative touches to the bag, then deliver the bag on Thursday or Friday before sundown. So we're looking for more volunteers. We've already gotten several. Just go to our website. The first date, again, is October 22nd, so register by October 17th, so we have all the supplies needed. And we'll supply, of course, the people to deliver those bags too, and I know they'll be really touched by your generous time. And finally, and most importantly, I want to wish special mazel tov to our B'nai Mitzvah, to Jack and to Asher and to your families. Mazel tov. Congratulations. I've had the opportunity to know Asher and Jack since the day they were born. And we were all set to have their bar mitzvah 2 months ago, August 12th. And COVID got in the way. Thank God everyone was fine within just a matter of days. And how nice it is now to come back 2 months later to celebrate with so many of you, all of us here in our community. It's a great way to start our new program year, which is in the second Parsha of the Torah, Parsha Noach. These are 2 wonderful young boys, I should say young men, who continue to impress us. And I know their parents and grandparents have given them a very strong foundation of Jewish teachings and Jewish wisdom. And we look forward to seeing you officially become B'nai Mitzvah tomorrow morning. Mazel tov. Congratulations again. And so for all of our boys that are with us this evening, we say to them, Yesimcha Elohim ke'Ephraim ke'Menashe. May God bless them like Ephraim and Menashe. and all the wonderful boys of our tradition. And for our girls, we say Yisimech, Elohim, Kesara, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. May God bless all of our girls like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. And may God bless all of our children with shalom, with peace always. And let us say, Amen. And of course, I need to say a special blessing for the Houston Astros and the Texas Longhorns. Let us now rise for the Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kichanu mitzvotav, v'ratavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, v'ahava u'ratzon, yichilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishi, ki hu yom tehila, lemikraye kodesh, zecher letzion Mitzrayim, ki banu v'charta, le'tanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, v'ahava u'ratzon, yichal-tanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shabbat